Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 15 of the Los Angeles Clippers MyNBA series here on NBA 2K24. Now today we're going to take a little bit of a break from our Los Angeles Clippers and get our second prospect kind of spotlight for the upcoming draft. Now quickly for the Clippers, it has not been a good season for them. They sit 15-26, which means you would get a good draft pick. But we don't have any draft picks really in the next couple of years. We have a second this year, a first swap worse with the Thunder in 2025, and then a first in 2027. We have no draft picks for this team. Regardless, I still want to take a look at some of the prospects that are coming up because I want to get you guys familiar with who will be joining the NBA in the coming seasons. And today we're going to take a look at 3 shooting guards in particular. I like to take a look at 2 college games per these draft episodes, and today we're going to start off with Kentucky at Florida. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more basketball content. Now, the reason we're checking out this game is there's a shooting guard on both teams, but specifically this man right here, Justin Edwards, the freshman out of Kentucky from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was an absolute animal in this game. He was the second best shooting guard in this, or first best, shooting guard in this draft class. He's number 2 overall according to Sporting News. In my opinion, he looks like he could be the number 1 pick. Look at that spin move right there. He had all facets of his game in this one. He ended up with 31 points at the end of it, shot very efficient from field. And if I had a top pick in the lottery, I would be hoping that I can get my hands on Justin Edwards. Now on the other end, you have this guy right here, Riley Kugel, who is a sophomore guard for Florida. We saw a second ago, had a foul in the early part of this game, so he sat out for a lot of the first kind of fourth of it. He's a sophomore from Orlando, Florida, who thought about going into the draft last year after being an all-SEC freshman first-teamer, but decided to come back to Florida for a sophomore year, and I mean, it's kind of gone up and down for him. He is the number 30th ranked prospect in this draft class, 6th best shooting guard. So I don't think he'd fall to our second round pick. If he did, I would not mind taking Riley. I think he has a lot of good assets of his game. Edwards definitely outshined him in this one, but I mean, that was to be expected. Edwards, as you can see, is just a better player overall. He scores at the rim. He hits from deep. He creates his own shot. He is just an absolute monster, and even on the passing skills right there, the vision just to find the man inside. Edwards was the do-it-all player here. Here's a 3-pointer off of the screen. But Riley Kugel had some flashes as well. He didn't shoot as good from the field, as you can see at the end of the third part of this game. How about that? A 3-4 half-court shot by Riley Kugel. That was a highlight to say the least, but both players very good. I'll kind of go through both their strengths really quickly. Justin Edwards is listed on his prospect card. He has good instincts, which I saw in this game. He's very good at creating his own shot, which we also saw off of the screen, off of the dribble, and you can see there's a nice pull-up from the mid-range there. And he's a very good dunker. We didn't see him dunk in this game, but if that's another asset to his game, I think he could have finished with a dunk right here, but nonetheless, he gets the 2 points. Anyway, I think Justin Edwards just looks like the complete package. On the other end, Riley Kugel, he had a couple of positives. He can finish at the rim, that's what his scouting report says, and he's very powerful for a guard. He'll fight through the contact, he'll get to the basket, he'll finish strong, which is a nice thing to have, as you can see right here, taking the contact, finishing from Justin Edwards too. Nice play by Kugel. And then he's also got a nice stroke. He can hit from deep. He was not as efficient this game hitting from deep. He scored a lot more of his points in the paint, but I mean, that's another solid aspect of his game. Kentucky ended up winning this one by 8, as it was 87-79 was your final. You can see the stat line. Edwards, 31 points off 13 of 23 shooting. Only missed 1 3-pointer. Just a solid standout game. Definitely impressed for the scouts in this one. While Riley on the other end only shot a little bit, about 33%, 14.6 rebounds, 5 of 16 shooting, and then 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. So not the best game for him. He was being guarded by Edwards for most of it, so you have to kind of take that with a grain of salt. Here's a take a look at both of their cards. You can see number 2 ranked for Edwards. You can also play the small forward position, and there's a look at his strengths that we listed off again. Very, very talented scorer and a very good defender. Kugel, obviously not as polished, 30th ranked draft prospect. He has a B on offense, C+ on defense, though. He can also play the small forward position, so a bit of flexibility there for the 6'5 guard from Orlando, Florida. The second game we're going to take a look at this one is the Baylor Bears at the Kansas Jayhawks. A little bit of Big 12 action here, and we're only going to take a look at 1 prospect in this game. So 3 overall in today's episode, and it's not a Kansas Jayhawk. Usually when you take a look at a Kansas game, you're looking at one of their prospects, but today we're looking at a Baylor Bear guard in Jacoby Walter, that man right there, who just finished at the rim. He's another very talented guard in this class. He's actually the number 2 ranked shooting guard. Didn't have the best game overall, I would say, in this one. He was a little inconsistent early, missing a couple of wide open shots like we just saw. But overall, he had a pretty decent game. He's from McKinney, Texas. He's a freshman this year, a 5-star recruit, just like Edwards. Him and Edwards are kind of the number 2 top guards in this class in terms of like scoring capabilities as a shooting guard. And some of Walter's positives, very aggressive. We just saw him finish at the rim, which is his second positive. He's a very good finisher, not afraid to just drive the basket, not afraid to just pound it inside. In fact, in this game, Walter's first 12 points all came inside the paint, which is kind of a positive and a negative because it shows that, maybe he wasn't shooting that good from deep, which more on that in just a second. But he also has very good handles. He can dribble and get himself open. He can make shots. And he's also, I noticed in this game, not afraid to take the big shot. You can see the score right here. Kansas currently up by 2. He makes both of his free throws. Now a 3-point game with 3 seconds left to go. And Walter, at the end of regulation, hits a fadeaway 3-pointer to send this one to overtime. A sensational shot there by the freshman. Unfortunately, Baylor would drop in overtime, 94-89. But that's just the kind of flashes you want to see out of Walter, especially as he takes that next step into the NBA. I don't think he's a top 3 pick. I don't know if he's necessarily a top 5, which kind of goes with that number 6 overall spot. I mean, he shot a straight up 33% from the field. So, I don't know. Not the best game from him. I still see the upside in Walter. He's a very talented player, don't get me wrong. But I probably wouldn't spend a top 5 pick on him. He's good offensively. He's pretty good defensively. But I think he has a little bit of work in his game as well. But he'll definitely contribute to some team. So those are the 3 prospects. We'll take a look in this one. Let me know in the comment section below who you thought was the best of those 3. Next episode, we'll return to the Clippers with a matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers at home. That'll be a doozy to say the least. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.